Pardon the dust on my sweatshirt. I just carried a box up here that has been riding through the country. So I'm going to really just wash this sweatshirt too. But dust all over now. Anyhow, I forget how long ago, but in a previous video, I talked about the organization in my sewing room and that I'm working on making some changes to it and also decluttering, organizing, going through some of my boxes. That most of my boxes over there actually, some of them are full, but most of them either have just one project in them or like an assortment of things. So I'd like to go through the boxes and complete the projects that I have set aside already to do. So, and by that I mean, so like my first box that I went through, I found a quilt top, and the quilt backing wasn't quite done, but all the material was there for the backing. Because I like to do piece backings a lot of times. It does take me twice as long then, because essentially you're piecing a backing, you're doing extra work. If you can get a 108 and do a solid backing, that gets you done quicker, right? But I like to use up my scraps a lot of times on the particular project that I'm working on. After I've done my backing, if I still have extra, or if I have small pieces, etc., I might, like if I have a bunch of 2.5-inch strips, if I have a whole bunch of 2.5-inch strips, I'm probably going to use that in the backing. If I have a whole bunch of 2.5-inch pieces, I'm probably going to set that aside for when I decide to do a 2.5-inch scrappy quilt. So I am actually working on doing some crumb quilts right now, so that's actually going to be my next project. But I just wanted to go through a couple boxes and see what all I got. So today I'm just going to go through one box, and because I finished my spooky quilt and I finished something else, I can't think what it is right now. And I do have one quilt top set to the side that I want to actually get quilted. I have the top and the backing now. That box that I'd gone through, I have the top and the backing, and I do want to get it quilted, but I'm out of batting right now, so that's getting set aside again, and I'm going to go ahead and continue on, and I'm going to go ahead and look through this box and see what we've got in it, or what I have in it. There's that royal we again. And see what I have in it. So, alright, so stay wilder than the wind. Stay wilder than the wind. It's a pretty pink box here. So, let's see what we got inside. Alright, well, I guess this was a good one to start with. So, lots of scraps from, I forget the name of the quilt. It's a sewing themed quilt that I had done, and this must be the leftover scraps that I wasn't able to use for the backing of that quilt. So, what will I do with this? Hard to decide. So there's an awful lot of little pieces in there that when I look at something like this now, there's part of me just wants to take those little pieces out and just use them for stuffing. And take out this big piece and put it with my fat quarters. But let's see. I feel like there was probably a reason that I went ahead and stuffed it in the bag, because there was enough of it to do some future projects. So these, I think, are the rest of the layer cakes from the project. So could definitely do something with that. And these are all, let's get the box to the side here. see, so this right here would all be scraps that are not really of any size to do a whole lot with. Some of them. Some of these could make some good crumb, but you know, like this, by the time you do a 1/4 inch seam and a 1/4 inch seam, you barely have a strip showing on something like that. So now that I look at it, it's kind of just put it in the box of trimmings. I do have a couple projects coming up that make use of trimmings. So that's what I'm going to do with some of this. This, you know, this, I don't even know why I kept that. A couple of these pieces I could maybe do something with. I could sew this onto another little piece, but I'm just going to get rid of them. This I will actually throw over here for crumb. And these could all be part of my crumb quilting. Honestly, most of this would be, I'm trying to think of a couple of different projects. Maybe you wanted to do, like you want to glue it down instead of sew it together. But if you sew a 1/4 inch seam on this on two sides, you've got nothing left. So it's kind of pointless. This, however, you might have a little bit of it showing once you did a 1/4 inch. So like at least a 1/4 inch of it showing. So I'll put that over here. Now all of these, I mean, I could sew these onto the ends of another strip, but honestly, I'm probably not going to. It takes a lot of sewing time then to do that. And I actually have a couple projects coming up that I feel like those would be better for, so I'm going to throw them in my crumb box. Or not even my crumb, trimmings. Just trimmings. So now these, maybe not this back one. Actually, it is pretty wide, so these have enough width to do something with on my crumb quilt here. So I'll set them over there. I just don't know. So that will work. That one could. And, you know, like I said, I got a couple here. I don't know. Maybe I will hang on to them. Those have the end. I don't want those. Put something together with all that. And with that. These. These are roughly the same size. And get rid of that. Get rid of this. But all of this right here really can just go in with my crumb quilt. So, in fact, I'll probably have quite a bit. In fact, I probably am going to need to do 2 crumb quilts. I've got so many scraps of a certain size. And then these I will probably, this might actually be a fat 1/4. And these I'll probably go ahead and cut down to like 2.5 inch squares for a scrappy quilt. And then this right here, honestly, all of this is probably enough to do a second quilt top. So, in which case, go ahead and put this in here, just in case, depending on what I come up with. You know, I could very quickly do my layer cakes and maybe make some sashing out of these. Cut some more 10-inch squares to go in between. Yeah, so we'll see what I come up with there. But this right here is all going to be for my crumb quilt. So yeah, just set that over there. And I'm hoping to work on that tomorrow before I have to go back to work. So, and then this will be a project for next week then. Awesome. Good. Hopefully we'll have 2 quilt tops before long. Well, one quilt, the crumb quilt that I'm doing is actually going to be, it's going to be a quilt already, and so you'll have to check out that video. It doesn't have to have batting to it because I'm going to use a different material for the backing. So you'll have to check it out because it's going to be hopefully kind of neat. So, and it should be very heavy for winter and not need any batting even. So hopefully it's going to be cool. All right, well, that's first box. First box down, and I don't even know how many to go.